Hello everyone, welcome back to the Strawberry Lily channel. This is your friendly neighborhood Slytherin Ren. You know that you may have an unhealthy obsession with makeup when you literally wake up in the middle of the night, just like out of the blue, with the thought of a makeup collection that you saw on Trend Mood earlier this week that you forgot about until now. And that is exactly what happened to me. I'm not even making this up. It is 2 a.m. right now. Sunday morning though, so it doesn't matter. It's my weekend and I'll film if I want to. But yeah, like Haunted Mansion, the ride at Disneyland, of course, I'm aware. I can't remember the last time I've been on it. I don't think even when I visited Tokyo Disneyland as an adult, I don't think I went on the Haunted Mansion ride, but I definitely remember going on it as a child and it was fun enough for me, but I think it's just a ride, basically. Frankly, I don't think there is enough material there to be a stan of, because as I understand, the original concept is just the ride, right? It's not like a story or something. Of course, now they've made the whole live action movie and whatnot, and I think that's why when I initially saw this collection, I did not really give it a second thought. I also noticed that the comments, as usual, were pretty negative and just people complaining about how the color story and everything does not live up to their expectations. So in a way that's good, because even though, I mean, I don't think it's a good thing in general that people just go straight to complaining, talking about how every new release is not living up to their expectations, but then at the same time it kind of helps me and my wallet, right? Because it kind of pre-primes me to not be interested in things. But you know, the subconscious always wins out in the end, and hence why I was literally woken up at 2 a.m. in the morning with the thought of, oh my goodness.
In the middle of the night, Miss Clavel turned on her light and said, "Something is not right."
Something is not right.
This collection actually looks beautiful and I want in. I think it's that beautiful pop of blue, like turquoise blue packaging that they have. I mean, the palette is obviously the most stunning thing, I think, of the whole collection. There's like holographic detail and whatnot on the cardboard box, but then all the other items too, like the Super Shock shadows and the lipsticks. Usually with these IP collaborations, I feel like Colourpop kind of cheaps out on everything other than the main eyeshadow palette, which is usually the star of the show, or sometimes they will have blushes as well. The packaging of the blushes usually is on par with the eyeshadow, but as far as the Super Shock shadows and the lip products and whatnot, the packaging on those is usually not as good as the palette. However, in this case with Haunted Mansion, I feel like this shade of blue alone, it's just calling out to me. It causes an actual physiological reaction of thirst in my body. Like, please tell me I'm not alone in this. I literally can feel my tongue, the inside of my mouth, watering at the sight of this blue, which kind of makes sense because I feel like maybe that's just a nature related thing. Like, blue does signify water in nature, so please reassure me that I'm not simply being weird here. But yeah, this collection has been out for a while, I think a little bit over a week, so it didn't exactly surprise me that unfortunately a lot of the bundles and stuff, and certainly the eyeshadow palette as well, is sold out currently on the Colourpop website, and I'm a little bit crushed. I'm trying not to think about it. Like, deep down inside, I'm not gonna lie to you, I am holding out hope that they're going to restock, but to be honest, I have a feeling that it might not happen. It's a seasonal Halloween release, so I don't know. I hope they restock because it seems like I'm not the only one who missed my chance. But in the meantime, I was like, wait a minute, girl, stop capping, because okay, the packaging is one thing, but as far as the color story goes, I had to call myself out a little bit here. Like, whoa, wait a minute. I definitely own these colors several times over, probably. First of all, I own almost every single release from Odin's Eye, and you know, when it comes to these deep, like rich jewel toned type of shades, Odin's Eye to me is one of the best brands for that. But even without Odin's Eye, I own other palettes from Colourpop themselves, hello, that also carry a lot of dupes for some of the shades that I'm seeing here. So I decided, why not, since I'm all inspired and worked up now, why not just dupe the vibes of this Haunted Mansion collection now? The palette is sold out anyway at the moment, so there's no way that I could order it even if I wanted to. Why not just use this opportunity to exercise some creativity? Okay, so first off, I want to lay down something like Endless Hallway for the base. It looks to be kind of like a taupey gray shade, so I'm thinking I can go with Bucket List in the Aurora Struck palette. I know this is deeper than that Endless Hallway shade. I cannot promise exact matches, you guys, like I'm only going off of pictures here for the Haunted Mansion palette, but we're duping the vibes, right? It doesn't have to, we're not trying to match it exactly. So yeah, I think I want this, like a taupe for my base. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my Kaleidos Tone Activator Primer. I really like the way that blended out, actually. This is a very smooth and not patchy. As you can see, I took it almost all the way up to my brows, and now we are going to do kind of a cut crease thing. So I want to make sure that the top portion of the grayish taupe color is still showing through, but like starting at the mid lid point, this is where we're gonna have our fun with the very obvious Haunted Mansion colors. I want to find a glittery purple, mid-tone purple. It's called Have a Stretch, and I have a few options actually. I could just continue on with one of the purples here from the Aurora Struck palette. That would definitely work, but I think actually let's go into the Jewels and Gem palette by Odin's Eye. I think this purple right here, Exhilaration, is a pretty good match. Or, I don't know, is that too gray leaning? This one has kind of like a blackish base. I don't really want a black base. I want it to just be pure purple. Here are two more options from the Aurora Struck palette. You know what? I think I like this one the best. This one is called Radio Waves. I like the subtle iridescent shift in this one, so I'm gonna bring that up high enough so that you can still see it when I look straight ahead. Oh yeah, this was the right choice because it has that blue reflective metallic shift, you know, which matches the whole Haunted Mansion color story. Just taking a smaller detail brush and going over that demarcation line between the purple and the taupe just to add some definition, or like fake a bone structure for me basically in this area. I changed my mind a little. I was originally going to put that bright like turquoisey blue in the center of my lids, but I think it would be better if I kept the top lid purple and gray, and then if I use the blue as an accent on the bottom lash line. So I'm going to dupe that Graveyard Stroll. It's just a dark gray matte shade, and again I think I'm gonna go with this one, Icelandic, in the Aurora Struck palette. We are 3 for 3 so far with the Aurora Struck palette. I'm kind of surprised, like we might not even use any Odin's Eye eyeshadows in today's look, which is what I really expected, but that's the thing with makeup, you don't really know until you actually swatch things and get your hands dirty, so to speak. So this is Icelandic. After I pat this down, I'm gonna go over again with another sweep of the purple duochrome shade. Yeah, I feel like this is pretty much identical to the Haunted Mansion shade, just a gunmetal matte gray. You know what, I might even add a little bit of Paradise, this sparkly black shade. This would be the stand-in for Hatbox in the Haunted Mansion palette. Also because I'm adamant about getting at least some usage out of my Odin's Eye palettes, even if it's just a little bit out of this session. And yeah, I think that was a nice touch actually. This is has very reflective silver glitters. Ooh, there's fallout with this one though. I actually just had to go and wash off the fallout from my cheeks, and I had to reapply foundation in this area. It was pretty noticeable since it's black, so I didn't really have a choice. Come on, Odin's Eye, don't do me like that. Okay, going into the same gray shade, Icelandic, I am just going to do a little tear bag liner situation on the bottom lid. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see how close I can actually get to this turquoisey shimmery blue smack dab in the middle of the Haunted Mansion palette. So this is called Hitchhikers. I had to actually stare at it for a while because it's more unique, I think, than it lets on at first glance. If you really look at it closely, it's not exactly like a clear turquoise or teal color, but it's also definitely not a straight blue. So I have a couple of options here. First off, I have these Odin's Eye Jewel Shine singles. These are the shimmers. See, again, you would think that there are so many different shades of blues and greens and teals in here that I'm bound to find a dupe in here, but if I'm really inspecting closely, I don't think any of these actually matches the exact tone of Hitchhikers. Like you see, these two are too blue, too dark, and this one, there's turquoise here, is too turquoise. But then I remembered that I have this Super Shock Shadow Vault from Colourpop that I purchased literally back in December during the holidays of last year. And I'm thinking one of these shades, this. I feel like this one might actually be the closest. So let's pull that out. I think we might have a winner on our hands here. God, those are stuck really tight in that packaging. Okay, so this is called Blue Drink. Really? I'm sorry, I was expecting a better name. Like, I'm a little bit thrown off by Blue Drink. You couldn't name it Blue Hawaii or something. But yeah, I think this is pretty much almost a dead ringer for Hitchhikers. It's just, this one seems to be slightly lighter. Ooh, that is a nice rich color. Okay. So we're going to take some of that into this like inner half of my tear bag right here. Okay, I like it, but I do feel that it's a tad bit light for this Haunted Mansion color story. I need a little bit, just like one shade darker or grungier. So what I'm gonna do, it's a bonus that this is a Super Shock formulation, so I think if I go into one of these Jewel Shine shadows, so like even though this one doesn't match the Haunted Mansion shade, I'll just take like a tiny bit of this and maybe just pat very sparingly over the Super Shock, just to give that like tiny little oomph of grunginess, you know? I think we got it. Wow, I'm really picky about colors and tones and undertones and such, huh? I did not even notice that about myself until I tried this Dupe the Vibes challenge. Like, I'm really not okay with just ballparking these shades, apparently. So yeah, now I am just going to close up that tear bag. I'm trying to stamp it on because I feel like if I drag it, it's just gonna mix with the turquoise and I don't want things to get muddy. And finally, for the inner corner highlight, I want to find something that mimics Ghost Host. This seems to be white pressed glitter. The BT21 Bon Voyage palette. I really like the pressed glitters in this palette anyway. Like sometimes I'll just pull out this palette only to use the pressed glitters. Okay, now I'm looking at these and none of them actually match the Haunted Mansion one completely. That one is really just like, seems to be a pure white slash pearly pink finish. Do I have something like that in one of my K-Beauty palettes? Or should I just go with this one? This is Pure at Heart. It has more of a yellow base to it. I don't know if that would clash with the purple and turquoise. Or I could go with Thinker, even though this is completely different. This is blue. Yeah, no, I don't think the blue would match. I am picky. Wow. I'm like not satisfied with these half almost matches. I found it, guys. It's in here, the Alice in Wonderland palette, which I can't believe I almost forgot that I owned. We are gonna go ahead and use the I'm Late pressed glitter. Ah, so satisfying. So yeah, it's still not an exact match. This one has like yellow and light lilac glitters. So the Ghost Host one in the Haunted Mansion palette, that one is definitely more on the pearly pink side, but I feel like this is what I wanted. This has that blinding aluminum foil almost effect that I want. Come to think of it, this Alice in Wonderland palette has a lot of overlaps with the Haunted Mansion one as well. I need to play more with this one too. I need to use all my palettes. You know, this is one of the best pressed glitters that I've tried, hands down, in any Western or Asian brand. Look at how well that adheres to the skin. It's stuck on there like glue. Even the ones in the BT21 palette, they're like a little bit flakier. They're not as sticky as this one. I have half a mind to depot this and just like carry it around with me when I travel, but then that would ruin the palette. I don't know, but I mean, if I depot it, I'm definitely gonna get a lot of use out of it. I might even pan it, so I mean, if I'm careful, I'm not gonna ruin the palette, right? It's just one shadow. Maybe. Alright, I'm going to go off camera and finish off the rest of my face. I would love to take you through the rest of the steps, but to be honest, it's like 3:30 a.m. and I do need to get some sleep in. So I'm going to finish the look off camera and I'll be back to show you the finished product. Alright, so this is the finished look, you guys. What do you think? I am really loving it. I haven't just like gone full in unapologetically with a bunch of deeper jewel tones for a while. So this is just a great little fix for me. For blush, I used this purple blush from Can Make. It's kind of getting washed out in the light. And then I went over slightly on just like the highest plane of my cheeks and my nose with the Candy Doll highlighting palette. This Aurora shade down here, which is the best, most nuanced highlighter that I've ever come across in 2023 for sure. And then on the lips, the Sheepy Sheepy Fua matte lip tint in 02. It's pulling very orange on camera. I didn't necessarily want something this orange. You know what I wanted? I wanted, there's this shade Beware from the actual collection that I feel like would match these eyes the best. It's like this cool toned beigey, like smoky beige shade, which I don't exactly have anything like that in my collection. So that's the only thing I'm kind of not completely satisfied about. Like, why is this kind of giving me Beetlejuice vibes almost? It might be the shirt that I'm wearing as well, but yeah, anyway, this was super fun. Look at all these palettes that I used, you guys. Talk about shop my stash. Like, this was a lot. I was not expecting to go through so many palettes looking for the perfect shades, but I guess this is the whole point of shop my stash, right? I am picky, you guys. Like, this little challenge reminded me just how picky I am. I mean, it makes sense because I'm a Leo snake, so we are very, very particular, and we can't help the fact that we were born with superior taste. But like, holy crap. This is why, you know what, I'm just gonna use this as justification to continue buying more releases and collections that catch my eye, even if I already happen to have a similar or the same color stories in palettes that I already own. Because look at how time consuming and labor intensive it is to actually dupe the vibes. Like, I don't have time for this every time that I'm trying to get inspired by, you know, a new palette. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!